Hello and welcome. I am Adil, and I invite you to join me on a rather special journey. We are about to travel through a land that has, for millennia, been a crucible of human history and faith. This is a complete overview of Israel's most significant historical and religious sites, a landscape where every stone and every grain of sand seems to hold a story. It is a place unlike any other on earth, a land where the spiritual and cultural heritage of humanity is etched into the very fabric of its existence, from the sun-scorched deserts of the south to the verdant hills of the Galilee in the north. Here, in this ancient land, the air itself feels charged with the weight of ages. It is a place where empires have risen and fallen, where prophets have walked, and where three of the world's great monotheistic faiths find their deepest roots. The spiritual echoes of countless generations of pilgrims, conquerors, and settlers resonate through its valleys and across its plains. The diversity of this heritage is simply staggering, a tapestry woven from countless threads of belief, conflict, and coexistence, creating a cultural mosaic of extraordinary richness and complexity. At the very heart of this intricate world lies a city of gold and stone, Jerusalem. For Jews, Christians, and Muslims, this single city is a focal point of immense, unparalleled significance. It is a place of sacred destinations, of fervent prayer, and of profound connection to the divine. It is from this extraordinary epicenter that our journey will begin, as we set out to explore the sacred sites that have shaped not only this land, but the history of our world. Our exploration begins here in Jerusalem, a city that needs no introduction yet defies easy description. It is without question the most important historical and religious city in Israel, a place revered by more than half the world's population. Within the ancient ramparts of its old city, a labyrinth of stone-paved alleys and bustling souks, the spiritual pulse of three great religions beats in powerful, often overlapping rhythms. It is a city of layers, where history is not just remembered but lived, breathed, and contested every single day. Look here, upon the Temple Mount, or Haram al-Sharif. Dominating the skyline is the magnificent Dome of the Rock, its golden dome a beacon visible for miles, alongside the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam. It is from this spot, tradition holds, that the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. It is a place of immense sanctity and serene beauty, a vast open plaza that stands in stark contrast to the dense network of streets that surround it, a testament to centuries of Islamic art and architecture. Just below, we find the Western Wall, the Kotel. This is the last remnant of the retaining wall of the Second Temple, and for the Jewish people, it is the most sacred place of prayer in the world. Here you see the faithful, their bodies swaying in prayer, tucking small folded notes containing their deepest hopes and pleas into the cracks between the colossal Herodian stones. The air is thick with the murmur of ancient prayers, a continuous, unbroken chain of devotion stretching back for 2,000 years. And a short walk away, within the Christian quarter, lies the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. This sprawling, complex basilica is shared by several Christian denominations and is believed to encompass both the site of Jesus' crucifixion, Golgotha, and the tomb from which he was resurrected. To enter its dimly lit interior is to step into the very heart of the Christian faith. And surrounding all of this, the Mount of Olives watches over the city, its slopes dotted with ancient tombs and churches, while the Kidron Valley below cradles secrets from the time of kings and prophets. We now travel a short distance south from Jerusalem to the town of Bethlehem. Though small in size, its name resonates across the globe, for it is here, according to Christian tradition, that the story of Jesus begins. This is the town of David, and later, the prophesied birthplace of the Messiah. For 2 millennia, pilgrims have made their way to this humble Judean hillside seeking a connection to the Nativity, an event that would irrevocably alter the course of human history. The heart of Bethlehem and the focus of this pilgrimage is the Church of the Nativity. This ancient basilica, one of the oldest continuously operating churches in the world, is built over the grotto believed to be the very cave where Jesus was born. Its entrance is famously low, the door of humility, forcing all who enter, from peasants to emperors, to bow their heads. Inside, the nave retains a sense of solemn antiquity, with remnants of Crusader-era mosaics and original Constantinian floor tiles visible beneath wooden trapdoors. Descending into the grotto of the Nativity below the main altar is a profoundly moving experience. The air is cool and heavy with the scent of incense, Here, a 14-pointed silver star embedded in the marble floor marks the precise spot of the birth. For countless believers, this is sacred ground, the physical point of contact between the divine and the terrestrial. The atmosphere is one of intense, quiet reverence, as visitors from every corner of the world kneel to touch the star, their faces illuminated by the soft light of hanging lamps. Not far from the center of town, we find Shepherd's Field. This is the traditional location where the angel appeared to the shepherds to announce the birth of the newborn king. Today, chapels and ancient grottos mark the site, set against a landscape of rolling hills that has changed little over the centuries. One can almost imagine that cold, clear night, the startled shepherds, and the celestial light that broke the darkness, bestowing upon this simple field a significance that would echo through eternity. Our journey now takes us north, into the gentle rolling hills of the Galilee to the city of Nazareth. In ancient times, this was a small, unassuming agricultural village, barely a footnote in the grand histories of the Roman Empire. Yet it was here, in this quiet corner of the world, that a pivotal moment in the Christian narrative is said to have occurred. This is the childhood home of Jesus, the place where he grew from a boy into a man, learning the trade of his father Joseph. The spiritual focus of Nazareth is the magnificent Basilica of the Annunciation. This is a modern church consecrated in 1969, yet it stands upon layers of history, built over the remains of earlier Byzantine and Crusader-era churches. Its design is bold and striking, its great cupola shaped like an inverted lily, a symbol of Mary's purity. The basilica is built on 2 levels, and the lower level contains the heart of the sanctuary, the Grotto of the Annunciation. This simple cave dwelling is traditionally held to be the home of the Virgin Mary. It is here, according to the Gospel of Luke, that the angel Gabriel appeared to her with the astonishing news that she would conceive and bear the Son of God. The grotto is a place of profound quiet and contemplation. The ancient rock-hewn walls seem to absorb sound, creating an atmosphere of deep serenity. An inscription on the altar reads, "Verbum caro hic factum est," here the word was made flesh. A short walk from the basilica, we find another site of immense importance, Mary's Well. Located within the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Gabriel, this is the site of an underground spring that for centuries was the village's main water source. According to Orthodox tradition, this is where the Annunciation actually took place, as Mary was fetching water. Regardless of the precise location, these sites in Nazareth root the story of Christianity in a tangible place, transforming a small Galilean town into a cornerstone of faith for millions around the world. We journey now to the coast, to the vibrant port city of Haifa, which gracefully ascends the lush northern slopes of a mountain rich in biblical history, Mount Carmel. This mountain has held sacred significance for millennia, its name forever linked with the dramatic contest between the prophet Elijah and the prophets of Baal. The forested slopes and commanding views over the Mediterranean Sea have long been sources of spiritual inspiration, a place where the divine seems to touch the earth itself. Nowadays, Mount Carmel is best known as the global center of the Baha'i faith, a religion that emerged in the 19th century, emphasizing the spiritual unity of all humankind. The centerpiece of this faith is the Shrine of the Bab, the resting place of the faith's forerunner, its golden dome a shimmering landmark visible from across the city. The shrine is nestled within the breathtaking Baha'i Gardens, a series of 19 immaculate terraces cascading down the mountainside in a symphony of color, geometry, and perfect harmony. These gardens, a masterpiece of landscape design, are often referred to as a stairway to heaven, with meticulously manicured lawns, vibrant flower beds, and flowing water channels. They are lovingly maintained by volunteers from the Baha'i community around the world and are intended as a gift to humanity, a place of peace and contemplation for people of all backgrounds. Walking through these terraces with the blue of the Mediterranean below, one experiences a profound sense of tranquility and order, a physical manifestation of the faith's core principles of beauty and unity. But the history of Mount Carmel delves deeper still. At its summit, the Stella Maris Monastery marks the traditional site of Elijah's Cave and the founding of the Carmelite Order of the Catholic Church in the 12th century. The mountain is also dotted with caves where prehistoric human remains have been discovered, indicating that this has been a place of human habitation and sanctuary for tens of thousands of years. From ancient prophets to modern faiths, Mount Carmel stands as a powerful symbol of spiritual refuge and divine presence overlooking the sea. Journeying just north of Haifa along the coast, we arrive at the ancient port city of Acre, or Akko. This is a city where the very stones seem to cry out with tales of conquest and intrigue. Its history is a dramatic saga of Phoenician traders, Roman legions, and Arab caliphs. But Acre is perhaps most renowned as the last bastion of the Crusader kingdom in the Holy Land. For nearly a century, it was the capital, a bustling fortified metropolis where knights, merchants, and pilgrims from across Europe converged. Beneath the bustling streets of the present-day Old City lies a remarkable secret, a subterranean Crusader city excavated and brought back to life. Here, one can walk through the vast, groin-vaulted halls of the Knights Hospitaller, their main fortress and headquarters. The scale is immense, a testament to the power and organization of these military religious orders. You can feel the cool, damp air and imagine the clang of armor and the murmur of Latin prayers echoing in these cavernous chambers. The excavations have revealed not just fortresses but an entire city infrastructure, including a secret Templar tunnel that ran from their fortress directly to the port, allowing for the discreet movement of troops and treasure. To walk this tunnel today is to follow in the footsteps of those enigmatic warrior monks. Above ground, the city is a magnificent example of Ottoman-era architecture, with grand khans or caravanserais, soaring mosques like that of Al-Jazar, and towering defensive walls that successfully repelled an invasion by Napoleon Bonaparte. Acre is a living museum. Its vibrant souk, its fishing harbor filled with colorful boats, and its ancient seawalls battered by the Mediterranean waves all contribute to an atmosphere that is utterly unique. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for the extraordinary preservation of both its medieval Crusader and later Ottoman layers. Here, history is not confined to a museum. It is the very foundation and fabric of the city itself, a place where the dramatic clash of civilizations has left an indelible and fascinating mark. We now move inland, to the shores of a freshwater lake that has had an outsized impact on world history, the Sea of Galilee, or the Kinneret. This beautiful harp-shaped lake is the lowest freshwater lake on Earth, and its shores were the setting for much of Jesus' public ministry. The city of Tiberias, founded by Herod Antipas, has been its main center for 2 millennia, a hub of Jewish learning after the destruction of Jerusalem, where the Jerusalem Talmud was composed. The entire region around the lake is a landscape of miracles. It was on these waters that Jesus is said to have walked, and where he calmed a raging storm. It was on these shores that he fed the multitude with just 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Today, pilgrims sail on the lake in wooden boats, styled after those of the 1st century, attempting to connect with the power of those biblical events. The tranquil beauty of the lake, surrounded by hills, makes it easy to understand why this was a place of such profound spiritual activity. Several key archaeological sites dot the northern shore. Here is Capernaum, called Jesus' own town in the Gospels. The extensive ruins include a magnificent 4th century synagogue built upon the foundations of an earlier one, a place where Jesus almost certainly taught. Nearby are the remains of a house venerated since the 1st century as the home of St. Peter. Standing here, among these ancient basalt stones, one is treading on the very ground where the first apostles lived and worked. Just above Capernaum rises the Mount of Beatitudes, the traditional site of the Sermon on the Mount. From this gentle slope with its panoramic view of the lake, Jesus delivered his most famous teachings. A beautiful octagonal church now marks the spot, and not far away lies Megiddo, the ancient tell, or mound, that has seen more than 25 layers of civilization. Its biblical name, Armageddon, has come to symbolize the final battle between good and evil, adding a layer of apocalyptic prophecy to this already historically dense region. Our journey returns to the Mediterranean coast, to a place that lays claim to being one of the oldest continuously inhabited ports in the world, Jaffa or Yafo. Today, it is part of the vibrant metropolis of Tel Aviv, but its ancient heart retains a distinct and magical character. Its history stretches back into the mists of time, mentioned in ancient Egyptian records and in the Greek myth of Andromeda and Perseus. For millennia, this natural harbor was the main gateway to the Holy Land. The stones of Jaffa's old city are saturated with stories. It was from this port that the prophet Jonah is said to have set sail before his fateful encounter with the great fish. It was here that the cedars of Lebanon arrived, floated down the coast to be hauled overland for the construction of Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem. The narrow, winding alleyways, now filled with art galleries and boutiques, are named after the signs of the zodiac, adding to the port's mystical old-world charm. For Christianity, Jaffa holds a particular significance due to its connection with St. Peter. It was here in the house of Simon the Tanner that Peter had a transformative vision. This vision, in which he was commanded to eat animals considered unclean under Jewish law, led him to understand that the message of Jesus was not just for Jews, but for all of humanity. This moment was a critical turning point in the evolution of Christianity from a Jewish sect into a world religion. Today, a church dedicated to St. Peter stands prominently overlooking the harbor, its tall steeple a landmark for ships at sea. The old port below is still active with small fishing boats, and the scent of the sea mixes with the aroma from waterfront restaurants. Jaffa is a place where the ancient and the modern coexist in a beautiful, dynamic harmony. It stands as a testament to the enduring importance of trade, travel, and the exchange of ideas, a timeless gateway between the sea and the sacred interior. Further north along the coast from Jaffa lies a site of breathtaking scale and ambition, Caesarea Maritima. This was no ancient Canaanite town that grew over centuries. This was a city born of a singular monumental vision. It was built from scratch by Herod the Great in the 1st century BCE, a lavish tribute to his patron Caesar Augustus. Herod transformed a small anchorage into one of the most magnificent port cities in the entire Roman Empire. The engineering prowess on display here is simply astonishing. Herod's engineers constructed a vast artificial harbor, its breakwaters made from a revolutionary form of hydraulic concrete that could set underwater. It was an unparalleled feat of its time. Today, the ruins of this grand city speak volumes of its former glory. The centerpiece is the spectacular Roman amphitheater, its tiered seating facing the deep blue of the Mediterranean. Restored, it is once again used for concerts, its perfect acoustics a testament to Roman design. Walking through Caesarea is to walk through the heart of Roman provincial power. You can trace the lines of the Hippodrome, where thrilling chariot races once captivated crowds of thousands. You can see the remains of Herod's opulent palace, built on a promontory jutting out into the sea, complete with its own freshwater pool. And snaking its way across the dunes from the north is the impressive ruin of a high-level aqueduct, which carried fresh water from the springs of Mount Carmel to supply the city's fountains and bathhouses. After the Jewish revolt, Caesarea became the capital of Roman Judea, the seat of its governors, including Pontius Pilate. It was here that St. Paul was imprisoned before being sent to Rome. The city flourished through the Byzantine period before falling into decline. Now a national park, the sprawling ruins, set against the backdrop of the sea, offer a powerful and evocative glimpse into the might, sophistication, and sheer grandeur of the Roman world in the Levant. We now leave the coast and travel deep into the stark, dramatic landscape of the Judean desert towards the Dead Sea. Here, rising abruptly from the barren plains, is a solitary, flat-topped mountain of rock. This is Masada. Its name has become a powerful and controversial symbol of Jewish heroism and defiance. It is a place of desolate beauty and tragic history, a fortress in the sky that witnessed one of the final, desperate acts of the Great Jewish Revolt against Rome. The fortress was originally built by the Hasmonean dynasty, but it was Herod the Great who transformed it into an impregnable refuge. With his characteristic architectural genius and paranoia, he built 2 lavish palaces on the summit, complete with bathhouses, storerooms, and sophisticated water cisterns that could hold enough water to sustain 1,000 people for years. The northern palace, clinging to the cliff face on 3 terraces, is a marvel of engineering, a luxurious villa with a seemingly impossible view of the desert and the Dead Sea below. After the fall of Jerusalem in 70 CE, a group of Jewish rebels known as the Sicarii fled here, making Masada their last stronghold. For several years they held out against the might of Rome. The Roman 10th Legion, determined to crush this final pocket of resistance, laid siege to the fortress. The remains of their camps and the enormous assault ramp they built on the western side of the mountain are still clearly visible today, a chilling testament to Roman military determination. According to the historian Josephus Flavius, when the Romans finally breached the walls, they found not captives, but a scene of mass suicide. The 960 rebels, choosing death over slavery, had taken their own lives. This dramatic story has cemented Masada's place in the modern Israeli psyche as an emblem of the choice to fight for freedom to the very end. To stand on the summit at sunrise as the light floods the vast, silent desert is to feel the immense weight of that history. Our journey takes us now to an oasis in the Jordan Valley, not far from the northern end of the Dead Sea. This is Jericho, a city that lays claim to one of the most remarkable titles on Earth, the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world. Archaeological evidence here points to settlement dating back an astonishing 11,000 years. To walk here is to walk on ground that has supported human life since the very dawn of civilization, long before the pyramids of Egypt were even conceived. The key to this incredible longevity is the perennial spring, Ain es-Sultan, which has provided a reliable source of fresh water in this arid region for millennia. The ancient city grew up around this life-giving source, and its history is preserved in the layers of a large mound or tell, known as Tell es-Sultan. Excavations here have unearthed incredible finds, most famously a Neolithic stone tower built some 9,000 years ago. It is the world's first known stone fortification, a sign that even in its infancy, Jericho was a community worth defending. In biblical tradition, Jericho is famous for the story of Joshua and the Israelite conquest of Canaan. It was the first city they attacked after crossing the Jordan River. According to the book of Joshua, the walls of the city came tumbling down after the Israelites marched around them for 7 days, blowing their trumpets. While archaeologists debate the historical accuracy of this event, the story has become a powerful metaphor for faith overcoming seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Later, in the New Testament, Jericho is the setting for the story of the Good Samaritan, and the place where Jesus healed the blind beggar Bartimaeus. Herod the Great also left his mark here, building a lavish winter palace to escape the cold of Jerusalem. Today, the lush green of the oasis with its date palms and banana groves stands in stark contrast to the surrounding desert, a testament to the enduring power of water to create and sustain life in the harshest of environments. We now travel to the southernmost tip of Israel, to a city where the stark reddish mountains of the Negev desert meet the brilliant turquoise waters of the Red Sea. This is Eilat. Today, it is a bustling resort town, known for its coral reefs and sunny climate. But its strategic location at the head of the Gulf of Aqaba has given it a long and important history as a port and a gateway to the lands of the south and east. The history of this region as a trade hub is ancient. It is widely believed to be the site of King Solomon's port of Ezion-Geber, from which his great trading ships, the ships of Tarshish, sailed to the distant land of Ophir, returning with gold, silver, ivory, and apes. It was a crucial link in the trade routes that connected the Mediterranean world with Arabia, East Africa, and India. The nearby Timna Valley holds evidence of another source of ancient wealth, copper mining, which dates back thousands of years, sometimes referred to as King Solomon's Mines. For centuries, this remote outpost was a vital stop for caravans and pilgrims. During the Nabatean, Roman, and Byzantine periods, a port known as Ayla flourished here, facilitating the lucrative incense trade from southern Arabia. Later, it became an important station for Muslim pilgrims on their way to Mecca. The strategic value of this narrow access to the sea has been recognized by every empire that has controlled the region. Today, while tourism is its main industry, Eilat's ancient role as a connector persists. Its port remains a vital commercial link to Asia and Africa. But for the visitor, the true treasure lies just beneath the waves. The coral reefs of Eilat are a world-renowned natural wonder, a vibrant ecosystem teeming with life. This juxtaposition of a harsh, ancient desert landscape and a rich, thriving underwater world makes Eilat a unique and fascinating destination, a timeless portal between land and sea. Our historical survey now turns to the southern coastal plain, a region that was once the heartland of one of the most famous and enigmatic peoples of the Bible, the Philistines. This so-called sea people, who likely originated from the Aegean, settled here in the 12th century BCE and established a powerful confederation of 5 cities, a pentapolis, which included Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. For centuries, they were the primary rivals of the early Israelites. The city of Gaza, with its strategic position on the ancient coastal highway connecting Egypt and Mesopotamia, has a history stretching back 5 millennia. It was the southernmost and most important of the Philistine cities. It is here in biblical lore that the Israelite hero Samson met his dramatic end, pulling down the pillars of the Temple of Dagon upon himself and his captors. Though modern conflicts have made archaeology difficult, the layers of history beneath Gaza are incredibly deep, holding secrets of Canaanites, Egyptians, Philistines, and countless other civilizations. Further north along the coast lies Ashdod. In ancient times it was another of the great Philistine capitals. The Bible records that after capturing the Ark of the Covenant from the Israelites, the Philistines brought it here, to the temple of their god, Dagon. Modern Ashdod is a major port city, but extensive archaeological excavations at a nearby mound, Tel Ashdod, have uncovered the remains of the ancient city, revealing massive fortifications and pottery that shows clear connections to the Mycenaean Greek world. These sites offer a precious though fragmented glimpse into the lost civilization of the Philistines. Their culture, their language, and their religion were distinct from their neighbors, and their material remains provide a fascinating counterpoint to the biblical narrative, which was written, of course, from the perspective of their adversaries. The archaeological remains in Gaza and Ashdod are a quiet reminder that the history of this land is a complex tapestry, woven from the stories of many different peoples, not all of whom left behind a written record. Throughout this land, there are countless sites revered as the final resting places of the prophets, patriarchs, and matriarchs, who are foundational figures for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. These tombs and shrines are not mere historical markers. They are active centers of intense devotion and pilgrimage, places where the faithful come to pray, to seek intercession, and to feel a tangible connection to the sacred figures of their tradition. Perhaps the most significant and most contested of these is in the city of Hebron in the Judean hills. Here lies the Ibrahimi Mosque, also known as the Cave of the Patriarchs, or Maqbala. This imposing Herodian-era structure is built over a cave that, according to the Book of Genesis, Abraham purchased as a family burial plot. It is believed to be the tomb of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, and Jacob and Leah, making it profoundly holy to both Jews and Muslims. The site is divided with separate prayer areas for each faith, a stark embodiment of the shared, yet divided reverence for these common ancestors. Another site of fervent pilgrimage is the tomb of Joseph, located in the city of Nablus, near the ancient site of Shechem. Tradition identifies this as the spot where the sons of Jacob buried the bones of their brother Joseph, which they had carried with them out of Egypt. Like the site in Hebron, it has been a flashpoint of conflict, yet it remains a place of deep spiritual importance, particularly for religious Jews who visit to pray at the tomb of the patriarch who rose to power in Egypt. In Jerusalem itself, on Mount Zion just outside the old city walls, is a site venerated as the tomb of King David. While modern archaeologists question the authenticity of the location, for centuries it has been a major pilgrimage destination. The stone cenotaph in the lower chamber of the building is draped in velvet, and the room is often filled with the sound of psalms being recited. These tombs, scattered across the landscape, serve as powerful anchors of faith, linking the present generation directly to the epic stories of the past. Beyond the major cities and the most famous shrines, the land of Israel is saturated with countless other sites that hold immense historical and religious significance. The richness is such that one could spend a lifetime exploring and still only scratch the surface. In the far north, for instance, at the foot of Mount Hermon, lies Caesarea Philippi, now known as Banias. It is a lush area, fed by springs that form a main source of the Jordan River. It was here, amidst pagan temples dedicated to the god Pan, that a pivotal moment in the New Testament occurred. Jesus asked his disciples, "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter gave his famous confession, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." It was upon this declaration that Jesus stated he would build his church. To stand here, where the ruins of ancient temples are being reclaimed by nature, is to witness the birthplace of an idea that would change the world. The landscape is also dotted with the tombs of lesser-known prophets and sages, revered by local communities for centuries. In the Galilee, one can find the tombs of Jewish mystical rabbis from the medieval period, which are still centers of study and pilgrimage. The fortresses of the northern Galilee, such as Montfort and Belvoir, stand as dramatic crusader sentinels, their ruined battlements offering stunning views and silent testament to a violent and fervent chapter of history. And finally, the vast Negev desert in the south is not an empty wasteland but a repository of history. Here, the ruins of ancient Nabatean cities like Avdat and Shifta rise from the dust. These were crucial stops on the incense route, and their inhabitants mastered the art of desert agriculture and water collection. Their ingenuity allowed cities to flourish in this most inhospitable of environments. Every corner of this land, from the green north to the arid south, holds a story waiting to be discovered. As our journey draws to a close, it becomes clear that this is a land where the past is never truly past. Nearly every city, every region we have explored, from the Red Sea in the south to the hills of Galilee in the north, holds a story of profound historical or religious significance. It is a landscape that has been shaped as much by faith and memory as it has by geology and time. The ruins of Roman cities, the citadels of crusaders, and the ancient mounds of forgotten peoples all serve as chapters in an epic story that continues to unfold. At the heart of it all, of course, remains Jerusalem, the Eternal City, a spiritual center of gravity for a vast portion of humanity. But the sacredness is not confined within its walls. It radiates outwards, touching Bethlehem, Nazareth, Hebron, and the shores of the Sea of Galilee. The immense diversity of this heritage is what is truly remarkable. The prayers of Jews, Christians, Muslims, Baha'is, and Druze all rise from this same small stretch of land, creating a complex and sometimes fraught spiritual ecosystem of unparalleled depth. To travel here is more than just sightseeing. It is an act of immersion into the very wellsprings of Western and Middle Eastern civilization. I encourage you to explore these sites, to walk these ancient stones, and to listen to the whispers of history on the wind. To experience this land for yourself is to gain a deeper understanding of the rich, intricate, and living tapestry of history and faith that has shaped our world and continues to shape our present. Thank you for joining me.